Why, hello, gaming universe. I am back, and yes, it's every now and then I seem to pop up every once in a while, right? Like, you know how it is. When I have the time. Basically, what we're going to be talking about in this video is a good favorite of mine. And over the past couple of months, I've been talking about PlayStation All-Stars. I've been doing other video blogs, and I know that you guys like to watch those as well. But nothing seems to be as big of a draw as my Smash Brothers videos. Like, guys, I've been doing this a long time. It's been over 5 years now. And Smash Brothers Brawl was the reason I started making videos on this channel in the first place. And I thank you for that, because look how far it led me. And it looks like we're going to be talking about it again. For whatever reason, I just seem to be the one, like, when I talk about Smash Brothers, it's like my main appeal, it's my main draw, and a lot of people grab onto it and they enjoy it. I guess it's almost like I'm a guru of Smash Brothers. Like, am I the most successful Smash Brothers blogger ever? Like, I don't know what it is. It's just, me talking about Smash Brothers is just the perfect fit for this channel. It really is, and I have shoutouts to do, which is good. Always great to have shoutouts to do. And first and foremost, we're going to give it to the man who gave me this series idea. I'm going to be doing a series, of course, of Smash Brothers 4 wishlists. That is what you're witnessing, the first inclusion. And in a message sent to me back in the summer, this is June, so this is like a long time ago now, a user by the name of Emithridis, quote me on the pronunciation. I'm not perfect at pronouncing usernames. But that's what I'm going to call you in this. You can correct me on spelling once you see this. He sent me a message way back in June, talking about, for in-between updates, and news, to kind of do wish lists, like to see, possible newcomers that I think will be in the game, this, that, and the other, wish list, predictions, and that kind of stuff. So, it's been on the back burner. Like, after that, Smash Brothers news went flat dry, and a whole bunch of All-Stars news is coming out, so that's kind of what I was doing through the summer. And now All-Stars is pretty much dead and dry. The game's coming out within like a literal 4 days. So there's not much to talk about there, so let's talk about Smash Brothers again, everybody. Perfect. So yes, he just sent me a message asking that, and I only really gave it thought like about within the last 2 weeks as something for a project to do. Basically, I've been quite busy. Like, this video was supposed to be done a long time ago, like, and released a long time ago, believe me. But just there's so much stuff been going on, and I've kind of fallen back behind. And this month is really showing it. Like, this month, I think I've only done, like, one video the whole month, and we're already, like, midway through, nearing to the end. So we have this new series to start with, so yay, and thank you to Emithridis for the idea. Other shoutouts go to a user by the name of Trickster Anime Gamer, who is a big fan of my Smash Brothers 4 videos in general, and he was one of the avid requesters for me to start talking about it again. I thanked him as well for that, and I asked him, saying, well, what the ideas that Emithridis gave me, I said, well, if I did this, would that be cool? And he said yes. So thanks to him for pushing me even further. And the final shout out goes to a user by the name of Slayer9568, who even quoted to say, he was excited for my next set of Smash Brothers videos, and that I even almost influenced him to start making videos on the fourth game itself. So that's kind of big, and I'm very flattered to hear that. Again, it's just crazy how far this channel has come over the course of 5 years. Over 5 now. Like, I've been doing this so long that second nature, So without further ado, let's get into our first episode of Spood's Smash Wishlists. I think that's got a bit of a ring to it. And before I continue, the reason I kind of haven't done wish lists is so many people do them, and they have the screenshots of every character, like the title of the name come up for, like, it's clearly done in Windows Movie Maker, and they have like the Brawler Melee or some other fuck video game theme playing in the background, and it's like a 20 characters, and like half of them are third party or Sega characters, and I just always thought, how could I do that? And so we're just going to give her a gander. I'm just going to try and edit this as best I can. to make it. I am adding screenshots. That's to be known. So just so you guys could see the characters I'm talking about. Just a little something, you know. Just say, hey, here's who I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm rambling. So, and keep in mind, this is a list of 15 newcomers that I would like to see personally added to the game. And before we continue again, Geno and Balloon Fighter, two people that I have avidly talked about, and I'm big on their inclusion in the 4th game, considering the old school characters that Sakurai wants to introduce to like the next gen of gaming through this fighter. They are not on this list. This is a brand new list. I've spoke their praises far enough. Everybody knows that I want those two in the game. Geno, of course, is one of the playable / party member characters from Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo. And of course, Balloon Fighter was the main character from Balloon Fight from eons ago on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Those old school characters I've talked about. I want them a lot. They're like top 2. We don't need to talk about them. They've been talked about enough. This is a list of 15 fresh characters that I think deserve a spot on the roster. And I mainly went Nintendo. I did kind of do some spoils, and there are some third-party characters in here. Not a lot, but I do have my reasons for them, and we'll explain them when they come here. But I tried to make it strictly Nintendo, and try to make it as realistic as possible. And Wishlist don't really need to be realistic. I mean, people get views for their Knuckles to Simon Belmont Wishlist that have absolutely no Nintendo characters whatsoever. And I'm going to say right now, Sora, who is a character that I would really, really like to see in Smash Brothers, he is not on this list for the mere fact that it's not very realistic. So without further ado, let's go to my semi-realistic list and start off at number 15, Sukapan. Goodness gracious, more light. Anyway, it's getting darker. This needs editing, you know. Something I don't do very much. Anyway, yes, Sukapan from Joy Mech Fight. You know, a character from an old Famicom fighting game. You know, we've had the Game & Watches. We've had Lucas. We've had these really obscure, and you know, we've had Roy. Roy and Lucas and Marth at the time were Japan-only characters, and you know, yes, Sukapan came from Joy Mech Fight, which is a fighting game for the Famicom, which, if nobody knows that, that's the Japanese version of the Nintendo Entertainment System. I just think he looks, his fighting style in that game is so crazy. He's a bunch of floating blobs that does karate, pretty much. He just seems like a natural fit for the game, and I get a kick out of looking at him and seeing him in like Wii U style graphics for the 4th game. It'd be pretty awesome. And this once again ties into the, you know, bringing in old school characters theme that Sakurai has brought up so many times before. And I just, you know, he's from a fighting game already. He just seems, and he's a Nintendo character at that, so he just seems like a perfect natural fit. Now to number 14, Ashley from WarioWare. Seriously, who doesn't love that overly catchy theme music from the WarioWare stage in Smash Brothers? You know, I have it set to the WarioWare stage all the time, but beyond that, you know, WarioWare just has Wario. He's the only representative. I mean, they had the 2 twin angel-looking fighter samurai people as assist trophies, but I don't think they're really relative of having a fighter themselves. Whereas Ashley, she's like a kid witch. The potential for a moveset is just crazy. She can take things out of a cauldron. She can use her cat. She can, you know, just anything in forms of magic anyway. You know what I mean? And like, oh god, I said she could use her cat. But no, seriously. Anyway. You know, with magic, you can do a lot. Like, there are very few magic-based characters in the game. Zelda being one of them, and she works out perfectly fine. And you can make her cartoony and wacky and just as crazy as she is in the WarioWare games, and I think it would work out just fine. I think, like, out of all the WarioWare representatives, I mean, she got her own theme song to be put in the game. That should show how important she is. I think she takes precedence over, you know, disco-looking guy and the biker chick and all that. She's by far the most interesting of the whole lot. Let her be in the next game. I don't think it's that hard of a decision. Magic always creates fun because it's so diverse. And I think it would shine well here in this game. Which now brings us to number 13, Toad. Yes, absolutely another Mario representative would be nice. You know, the character who has just as long of a tenure as Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Bowser themselves. I'm sure he could hold his own in a fight. I mean, if Jigglypuff can make the game, and she can fight, or he can fight, or whatever it is can fight, Toad can too. I mean, he can race a fucking go-kart. I think it's about time he's in the game rather than a little squirming shield for Princess Peach. Where's the love for Toad, everybody? Where is it? Maybe we'll get it in the 4th game. We can hope. For Toad's sake. Now, on to number 12. King K Rool. The more villains, the better. And Donkey Kong needs his villain. I think just about everybody in this game, minus like Kirby or something, well, of the franchises that matter anyway, have their main villain. Mario's got Bowser. Link's got Ganondorf. I think DK needs King K Rool. You know, it adds more variety to the villains, and it adds another powerhouse. But, you know, there's so many forms of him. There's this regular form. You know, you could have him in pirate form, which would be really interesting. You remember when he dressed up as a pirate? I think you all do. Yeah, like, he's obviously going to be a powerhouse. But, you know, Bowser and King Dedede are both powerhouses, and they both worked out completely different. King K. Rool's playstyle, whether he's in King mode, Pirate mode, Army mode, whatever kind of like costume you want to put on him, you know, he's still the same guy, can play out really uniquely. I mean, powerhouses are powerhouses, you know, Captain Falcon, Bowser, and, you know, King Dedede, they all work out different. They all worked out completely differently in Brawl, and the same can be done here. I think it's just long overdue. You know, he's somebody who should have at least been in Melee. There's no excuse for him to be excluded from Brawl. He's pretty old. Like he's been around since the Super Nintendo. Give him a shot. He deserves it. And I know all of you out there agree with me. And villains are always fun to play as. Come on. Now, moving on to number 11, Professor Egad from Luigi's Mansion. I love Luigi's Mansion. I really do. I think it's awesome. It's an awesome game, and since really in Brawl, Luigi didn't really get to use his ghost vacuum thing very well, why not give it completely to Professor Egad? He's the one who showed Luigi how to do it. He's the one who got him through the mansion, and we have not seen him since. He would be one badass fighter. All his moveset is centered around that ghost vacuum. It'd be killer. I think he'd make a great fighter. He'd be really unique. A lot of creativity could go into him. You know, other than Luigi, who's really a Mario rep, I think Luigi's Mansion deserves a rep. It's really one of the underappreciated gems of the GameCube. One of my favorites for it, actually. I love the game so much. I thought it was so unique. It's too bad a sequel came out on a handheld console. As you know, I don't really game much for handhelds. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm just so out of touch that, you know, handheld gaming is actually better than console gaming. I don't know. I doubt it. But, yeah, like, Luigi's Mansion's a great game. Professor Egad, like, that's just a classic name. Like, it's just so punny. And he looks like a crazy lunatic. And he sounds like one, too. I mean, he could kick some ass with that ghost vacuum. I'm sure it actually has a name that I'm just not remembering at present. Comment it away. As we move on now to number 10. PacMan. Now this is where the first of only 2 third-party characters comes into play for my wish list. And the only reason it does is because it's even if it's slightly, like the teeniest tiny bit reasonable, it's still slightly reasonable. Bandai Namco, the owners of PacMan and Tekken and other assorted others, I think even Soul Calibur, are helping Sakurai and his team develop the fourth Smash Bros. Game. This was announced way back in June. When, you know, as I was saying, when I was, you know, like the last little bit of news updating I was doing. So, with that being said, I even brought it up back then that PacMan would perhaps be a potential candidate. Like, he's got such a long heritage with video games in general. So, it's pretty cool, you know, to think that with this partnership, you know, they could maybe say, you know, maybe we should, for the fans, you could throw PacMan in there. Not saying it's totally 100% possible, but for a third-party character's chance, I'd say PacMan, Waka 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 definitely has a good one. Moving on now to number 9. Girahimu. Yeah, so Girahimu is like the big Zelda villain now. He was one of 2 main villains of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and the guy just looks awesome. I mean, he's a demon lord, for crying out loud. He is a natural fit for Smash Brothers. I'm going with this whole villains thing. Villain after villain after villain after villain. And, you know, again, this is just a wish list. He might be too new, but that didn't stop, you know, others of the past, like, you know, Lucario or Lucas being in a game, and Skyward Sword was fairly awesome from what I heard, and he was one of the you know, he caught a lot of eyes when he was in that game, and just some of the stuff that he did in the game would translate perfectly into a fighting style. I mean, a lot of Nintendo's characters could translate very well, but he'd be definitely, like, if Ganondorf went and left and got replaced by him, like, I would have no problem with that whatsoever. That's how cool this is. At least then, you know, you wouldn't be getting another Captain Falcon ripoff. They'd have to do at least something unique and different with him. Oh, God, Lord, if they do it with him anyway. Anyway, now we're moving on to numero 8. Ridley. I think collectively, as fans, this is the villain we want to see. We want to see Ridley Bowserized and mobile and ready to fight and be the powerhouse character that we all know he can be and just kick some ass. Like, really, I think for all of us who've been waiting so long, this is the villain that we want to see. Really, he is. For the longest time now, Metroid has only had one representative. Yes, Zero Suit doesn't count because it's still Samus. Samus has been the only Metroid representative since Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64. Since the first game, we've only had one Metroid representative. It's about time the main villain of the series gets to be in here. If they can shrink Bowser down and make him mobile, they can do the exact same thing with Ridley. He can be on his feet and do his, like, whole pterodactyl walk thing, and it'd be fucking cool. Using his attacks with his wings, it'd be amazing. You know, maybe I can understand why it couldn't have happened in Melee. He was a largely requested character for Brawl. I don't understand why he didn't make it that time. Yeah, that was a console that clearly the development could have been able to do so. And now with the Wii U being even more powerful than that, I think he should be a given. He goes way back to Metroid, or at least Super Metroid. He's got a long lineage. He's old school. He's recent as well. He's a character that people love and enjoy. Again with the villains, but this is the big one. This is like one of the absolute musts. I think, like, for the fourth game, it's now or never for Ridley. And I'm going to give it a shout out right now to the Majora's Mask, because I know that he very much would like to see Ridley in this game. I am with you, brother. This needs to happen this time around. Absolutely. Ridley for Super Smash Bros. 4. And now, moving on, of course, we go to number 7. Zoroark. And as we are all well aware, every Smash Bros. Game has their next-gen Pokemon. well, other than the first one when Pokemon was still relatively new, in which we got Pikachu and Jigglypuff in it. But aside from those, you know, in Melee we got Mewtwo when he was red hot at the time. And then when Brawl came out, you know, Lucario was in it when he was at his most popular. And this time around, it seems, I think, fairly obvious to everyone that the next-gen Pokemon for this game is going to be Zoroark. Just simple as that. For the main fact is that, well, he's a shapeshifter. And that could be pretty cool. I mean, yeah, like, not Kirby-esque to a degree. I mean, you could turn into other Pokemon and use their attacks for a brief period of time. You could actually physically turn into other fighters. Like, let's say you turn into Mario, you could use, like, the fire, or, you know, actually punch and kick like him for a bit before turning back into your normal self. Take the essence of the characters you fight and then use it on as, like a specialty move. And then just as bonus, you can fight, like, regular Zoroark, or you can even turn into the man of 1,000 Pokemon, you know what I mean? So that just, to me, you know, that has so much potential, and I'm sure the developers know that, and I'm pretty sure he's a top pick anyway, given that he's at the height of his popularity, and, you know, they did the same thing with Lucario and Mewtwo in the past when they're at the top of their popularity to make the Smash cut as far as being a next-gen Pokemon. So I see him being, you know, the third Mewtwo, if you will. You know, there was Mewtwo, then there was Lucario, who's Mewtwo's replacement, and then you're going to get Zoroark, who's Lucario's replacement, Mewtwo's second replacement. And then, and if they ever make a fifth game, one who's popular then too, who's kind of badass and stuff. So, yeah. On to number 6. Isaac. I think I can speak for many Smash Brothers fans and say easily that we felt pretty screwed over when Isaac from Golden Sun was assist trophied. There's nothing worse than, you know, a highly selected character for a fighting game gets assist trophied. I mean, it happened multiple times with a few people that could have really did some good to the game. And he just seemed like a natural fit for Smash Brothers. And Golden Sun's a fairly huge franchise. I mean, there's a lot of fans of it. He's like the main star of it. It's a natural fit. Hopefully this time around, the roster kind of gets looked upon for a second time, gives it a second chance, and we might be able to see some assist trophies make a comeback, and hopefully one of them will be Isaac, because he deserves to be in Smash Brothers, at least in my opinion. Now on to number 5. Skull Kid. For the record, this is for less shadow effect around my nose. For whatever reason, and I'm going to point it out right now, this keeps happening. So if I go back further, it's not as blocky of the face. I guess you can see the majority of my face and beard. Anyway, back to the villains. I mean, Skull Kid would just be awesome. It's a huge long shot for the game, but him with the Majora's Mask on, everybody remembers that final boss battle from Majora's Mask. That has countless potential for fight. Like, everything that he does could be a fighting move that you use against your other opponents. I mean, he'd be a great, great addition. He's the second Zelda villain that I've already talked about. Girahimu I talked about a little bit earlier on in this video. And he'd probably get in over Skull Kid, and I don't see the both of them making the game. But as far as for somebody I'd really, really like to see who has a lot of potential, I would say I would prefer Skull Kid even more over Girahimu, because just, man, would he be awesome to play as with the Majora's Mask on. You could float or whatever and just use the projectiles from the actual game Majora's Mask, and it would just be a lot of fun, I think. And Majora's Mask is quite the underrated game. I don't know if it's because it was a sequel to Ocarina of Time or whatever, but I think as far as Zelda games go, it's quite underrated. I would recommend it to anybody who played it. Maybe it's just because I'm a fan of it personally, that I hold this character, this villain, in such high regard. But I really do think that sky's the limit for his potential as a fighter. As I said, you just watch the final boss battle from Majora's Mask and tell me that that wouldn't play out awesome in Smash Brothers. Anyway, we are now moving on to number 4 on our character countdown wish list. Crystal. Seriously, why wasn't she in Brawl? You know, Melee I could understand. She was kind of introduced on the GameCube. You know, kind of new character then. Melee is kind of far in production. At least Falco was already kind of established as a Star Fox character. Then came Brawl, and Crystal had been in a few games. She could use her spear, staff thingy. Really unique. Could bring a fresh fighter to the Star Fox franchise for the game, and they go with fucking Wolf. Wolf, who's just evil Fox. And Falco. Except a little more powerful. But they're essentially the same fighters. With Crystal, they would have had to have done something different, because they would have had to incorporate the staff, the spear. I thought she was an obvious unlockable character, or secret character, or even just a new roster addition. I thought she was the perfect person to add to Star Fox. Even if they would have got rid of Falco and replaced him with her, it'd have been the perfect addition. Like Peppy, Toad, you know, they'd all kind of work the same. Obviously Wolf would too. I thought she'd be the perfect thing to kind of add a new character to the Star Fox franchise. Just look at what she could do. Play Star Fox Adventures. Add her in the 4th game. That's all I gotta say. Moving on. Let's go to number 3. Bowser Jr. And here we go. My number 1 most requested personal favorite villain for Super Smash Bros. 4. That, of course, is none other than Bowser Jr. I mean, an awesome, agile Bowser. Amazing, just to think about. Just think about Bowser's moveset, except speed it up, have a little more running headbutts, and do the nasty stuff that the little guy can do. He can go really fast in his spiky thing. You know, a fast, small, agile Bowser who could pack a punch. But then, his magical staff, as an extra bonus kind of attack thing, could turn into that evil Shadow Mario thing from Mario Sunshine. He's the total package for an addition to the game. I don't understand why he didn't make it to Brawl. Again, with Melee, he's kind of introduced as sort of a newer character at the time, so it kind of could explain his exclusion. But with Brawl, it was kind of head-scratching, because he was one of the more popular requested villains for the game. Again, like many others on this list, the 4th game is make it or break it for Bowser Jr. He either makes it in this one, or it's like he's never going to end up in a Smash Brothers game ever. But I'm holding out hope, because he is the villain. My personal favorite choice to represent the game. I've been putting villains all over here. Girahimu, I've supported Ridley. Just moments ago I supported Skull Kid, but Bowser Jr. tops the list. He's the villain that I want to see most represented as a fighter in Super Smash Bros. 4. Let's move on to number 2. Mega Man. And alas, at number 2, we have my second and final third-party character of this list, and it's none other than Mega Man. Yes, because as I said, I made a video well over a year and a half ago, about Sakurai being open to a possible Capcom character appearing in the next Smash Bros. Game because of the close ties Capcom wants to have with Nintendo in terms of making games for the upcoming Wii U console that's coming out very shortly. If they do strike up an agreement, I hold out hope that they make the right decision and put in the Capcom character everybody wants to see in Smash Brothers. Everybody wants to see Mega Man. He's a no-brainer for a new third-party choice. If they don't go with any third-party characters, and that includes PacMan, who I mentioned eons ago already, and that's unfortunate. But Mega Man could be so much more than just Mini Samus. I mean, people who think that they obviously haven't played the original games. I mean, he has a lot of heritage with Nintendo, more than probably any possible third-party character you can think of. I mean, the original classic Mega Man games were for the Nintendo Entertainment System. A comeback in Smash Brothers is just what the character needs to get back on his feet. I think it would help him a lot. We really were expecting him for Brawl. I think Sonic took priority then. Maybe the opening is now for Mega Man to make his Smash Brothers debut. I know a lot of you out there probably agree with me on this, but again, it's either now or never in terms of making a Smash debut. If they don't get it done in Smash 4, then it's likely that Mega Man will never make it in a Smash game, which would be unfortunate. But let's hold out hope that our favorite, can we call him our favorite Blue Bomber? Well, anyway, we'll make it into the 4th edition of Smash Brothers if Capcom and Nintendo can come to a wondrous agreement. And now, to the #1 character on this top 15 list. Check it out. Little Mac. And now to finally cap off this over half an hour video of torture for all of you, I'm sure. Although I really hope you found this insightful, because I've kind of given input on each character, shown each character, and really this took a lot of editing. And now it's time to explain why I have Little Mac as #1. Of course, him being below. Let's just throw him out there. Geno and Balloon Fighter are a solid number 1 and 2. All these characters are beneath them, but why he's on the top of this top 15 list is I haven't seen a character more fit to bring in an old school character for Brawl than Little Mac. I thought he was a lock. He was a boxer from the Nintendo Entertainment System for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Perfect. You know, he's fighting in that game. He has fighting background. He's a fighting character. He's a surefire fit for Brawl. If they can bring in Ice Climbers, if they can bring in Mr. Game & Watch, Little Mac is going to get his shot. And he was screwed over big time. Just like Isaac from Golden Sun, he got assist trophied, which broke my heart completely, because I was very much for Little Mac to be a fighter in the game. He was a character I wanted to see very bad. I still want to see him very bad, and with Punch-Out getting a title release on the Wii, and kind of some spotlight being put back onto that franchise, I feel, and also Sakurai saying that he wants to bring in a more old school cast to join with, you know, the veterans of Smash Brothers, or returnees. I like Little Mac's chances in this one. I think he's going to be more than an assist trophy. I think, you know, he's going to make it rather than break it in this game. I see him being a definite surefire, perhaps lock for the roster. In terms of a newcomer, I think he has everything. He's the perfect, absolute perfect fit for a fighting game. Maybe time constraints, maybe they just thought he'd be a better assist trophy. I don't know. I thought that the decision was baffling when it was announced that he was just going to be an assist trophy for Brawl, because he really had the potential to be a good playable character. And I'm thinking they know that now, and I'm thinking they're going to make a good decision and make him the character that we all want to see. And I know I'm not the only one. There are a lot of other Punch-Out fans that would like to see Little Mac represent the NES in Super Smash Bros. 4, and I think he's the most deserving, because if there were a screw job of the year for a Smash character, I think he would win it. Because at least with Isaac, though, like, he just seems tailor-made for a fighting game, and Sakurai loves to bring back old characters to play as for fighters. You know, you see that with Ice Climbers, you see that with Ness, and you see that with Mr. Game & Watch, to name a few. And he was the perfect character to bring in for such a thing, and he made him an assist trophy, and it's like, what the fuck? Really? So, with the spotlight being brought back to Punch-Out a little bit within the last few years, I'm fairly confident that he might be a surefire runner for a newcomer in this game. Anyway, after wasting all of your over 30 minutes of time, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found it insightful. Hopefully you found it fun and awesome to hear me talk about Smash Brothers again. I thank you all for watching. It's been over 5 years of fun, and Imithridus, you know you're out there. You got any more ideas, just inbox me. The same goes to you, Slayer9568. You got any ideas, throw my way. And also to you, Trickster Anime Gamer. If any of you guys, because you guys are all getting the shout-outs in this, if you have any ideas for me to talk about predictions or wish lists and whatnot, comment them, inbox me them. I'm all ears. And every one of you guys just, you're great. And you keep watching, and it's what brings me back to YouTube. And it's all for you guys. So I hope you all have a good one. Peace.